There was no stopping Janelle de Villiers and Francois Jourdan as they continued their charge at the front of the field. They had run slotted a few minutes earlier and almost lost the lead to Krobler and Leek. The leading Nissan is equipped with an independent rear suspension as opposed to Krobler's Nissan, which is fitted with a live axle. You be the judge as to which vehicle handles the jumps better. Krobler and Leek were no more than 30 seconds behind the leaders. Harkes wasn't content to lead the special vehicle category. He wanted to beat the Class T trucks and win the Toyota Dealer 400 overall, a feat that he and Gary Bertholdt achieved on last year's Carnival City 400. Any hopes of winning were dashed by this untimely puncture. The Team Ford Racing Ranger of Woolwich and Scholthammer was just no match for the more powerful Nissans when it came to fast sections such as this. Harkes was about to lose the lead to Mark Corbett and John Moore. Another position lost, this time to Atang Mageganeni and Bux Carolyn in the Total Jimco. Harkes later crashed into a ditch and ripped off the right front wheel of the Bat. Class D leader Mark Cronje and Chris Birkin set a blistering pace in the Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7i, but were being chased hard by Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham in the Team Ford Racing Ranger. Alfie Cox and Ralph Pitchford were on the pace in the Nissan, but a broken prop shaft would cost them time and drop them way down the order. Class S leaders, Alberts and Hunter, were under no threat from Rutherford and Hutchinson, who had steering problems on the Ruth Pond racecourse. Gavin Cronje and Robin Houghton had made up a place and were now 8th in the production vehicle category and comfortably in the Class E lead. Mafeking 500 winners Gary Bertholdt and Siegfried Rousseau were having gearbox problems on the Advansoft Bat and were destined to retire after 100 kilometres, but there were no such problems for Class B leaders Taylor and de Chalane in the JRE, who had Class A contenders Ger Juster and Freddie Pretorius in the Atlas Copco Sandmaster hunting them down. Castrol Toyota pair Zane Pierce and Henny Vosloo were second in Class E, but had Class E Championship leaders Hugo and Jaap de Bruin in close pursuit in last year's Class E Championship winning Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7i. The De Bruins won the Class E Championship in 2002 and are set to win again after a highly successful season. The Weigelds certainly didn't need this bothersome puncture, but slick teamwork ensured that they didn't lose a position. Hein Millman was in trouble.
Ons het goed gery. 20 kilos van die begin af toe breek die injectorpyp van die bakkie net nie loop nie. En ons het nou maar besluit. Ons het aangeneem as injectorpyp. Ons het aangeneem as injectorpyp. Ja, hy het al van tevore gebreek. Wel, en dit is nou hy. Ons hoop maar hy's net los. Nou hoef ons daarom nie uit te haal. Hein? Jo.
John Weir Smith and Jeff Minnett had moved up from 47th to 27th position in the BMW 540 V8 powered Kopanong Hotel Super Team Jimco, but their charge would come to an end when another drive shaft failed later in the race. Mollman and Fincham appeared to have solved the problem on the 4x4 Mega World Toyota Hilux, and they were able to rejoin the race ahead of Class E rivals Bapumzi Rubuluza and Kulili Fakalisa in the Team Ford Racing Ranger. The Pietermaritzburg-based development team is second in the Class E Championship. The Team Ford pair has had an impeccable finishing record and could have done without this problem.
We went over that big jump there, and it looked like we broke the top ball joint, and then it pulled out the drive shaft and the bottom ball joint. So we're just trying to replace the bottom one. The top one is still intact. We just broke the nuts off. So we're getting them back, and hopefully we can do that on time.
Up, slowly.
The Toyota Dealer 400 took a heavy toll, and this section of the route led to the demise of virtually the entire Class B field and some other fancied crews.
We had a bit of a problem with the power in the car, and secondly, the gearbox packed on us, so we couldn't do all these mountains, and we just call it a day. I think we're gonna just get ready for the next race, and hopefully, the iTech bet will be able to finish next time.
An ignominious end to the iTech Bats race. The route included 2 decontrols to link sections of the route, which gave crews a chance to stretch their legs before resuming battle. De Villiers and Jordan were the first to arrive and were followed seconds later by Grobler and Leek.
It's quite rough out there and a lot of dust. It's not as nice to drive second on the road, but we're going well. We just keep it there and we keep the pace nicely and not far behind.
Where's that? Nothing on those switch backs, those Class E cars. Yes, Corbett.
Yeah, going well. We're in front, leading our class. So all's good at the moment, but there's quite a few people charging hard behind us. So we've got to keep the hammer down. And
actually going well. We've been pushing quite hard, but we've still maintained the gap on the Ford, and the Alpha's fallen a little bit behind. Actually quite tough because all 3 vehicles are right behind each other. At this point in time, going well.
Yeah, no, we're enjoying it. The 3 D classes are just staying together. Quite happy to be in second at the moment. All depends. We'll see on the last lap. We'll try and push a bit harder. We're going at quite a nice pace. Having good fun.
Yeah, I know it's all well. It's a bit dusty, but yeah, going well.
Magekeneni and Carolyn were second and within spitting distance of Corbett and Moore. De Villiers and Jordan were heading for the end of the first 190-kilometre lap, but teammates Grobler and Leek were not far behind. The scene was set for an interesting finish, with the winner set to gain a slight advantage in the Production Vehicle Championship battle. If the 2 Nissan crews finished in this order, Grobler and Leek would lose the championship lead for the first time this season, and De Villiers and Jordan would gain a 2-point advantage. Woolridge and Scholthammer stand a chance of winning the Production Vehicle Championship if both Nissans fail to finish either of the remaining events and the Team Ford pair wins overall. It may seem a tall order, but the Carnival City 400 may just prove to be the turning point for the former champions. Mark Corbett and Jean Moore had a comfortable lead in the special vehicle category, but unbeknown to them, a CV boot had torn on the Century Property Development's bat, which could put them out of the race. No expense or effort is spared in the preparation of the Total Jimco, which has resulted in an enviable finishing and success record for Mekhekeneni and Carolyn. Months of development on the 2002 Special Vehicle Championship winning Proco Jimco has paid off for Frikkie Botha and Blackie Swart, who picked up a puncture earlier in the race. The designated service point was in sight, but race leaders De Villiers and Jordan would bypass the area because the Nissan has the fuel range to complete the entire event without having to stop to refuel. The same applied to Krobler and Leek, who were never more than 30 seconds behind the leaders. Woolridge and Scholthammer would also not stop to refuel the Team Ford Racing Ranger. None of the special vehicles were able to complete the race on one tank of fuel. Mekhekeneni and Carolyn were slowly closing the gap on Corbett and Moore. Mark Cronje and Chris Birkin were fourth overall and the Class D leaders in the Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7i. Despite clutch problems on the Team Ford Racing Ranger, Manfred Schroeder and Jack Peckham were able to hold on to second spot in Class D, ahead of Alfie Cox and Ralph Pitchford in the Arnold Schatz Cars Nissan Hardbody, which only had front-wheel drive for the last 60 kilometres of the lap. Paolo Piazzamosso and Rod Herring had a frustrating time in the Castrol Toyota Hilux 2.7i after breaking the right front drive shaft 40 kilometres into the race and then losing the power steering at the 100 kilometre mark, while Hein Krobler and Gerard Prinsloo lost time when they picked up a puncture on the GBS Racing Nissan Hardbody. Marcus Taylor and Mark Deschelaine were having a great run in the JRE and were third overall in the special vehicle category, but then disaster struck. Zane Pearce and Henny Vosloo had grabbed the Class E lead from Castrol Toyota teammates Gavin Cronje and Robin Houghton when they had to extinguish an electrical fire in the cockpit. John Thompson and Clinton McNamara in the Norman Zarco Light couldn't believe their luck as they passed the stranded JRE and took over the Class B lead.
Then we should be able to turn it. It's a bit disappointing. We've got a spare gearbox at the pits, but we're about half a kilometre from the pits. So I don't think we're going to make it. The carrier's gone.
It was a case of so close yet so far for Taylor and Deschelaine, who were forced to retire within sight of the pits. Class S leaders Alberts and Hunter gained another place in the overall order.